discipline strategies steward parents use. Let's talk about this. One of the biggest misconceptions in parenting. One of the biggest misconceptions in parenting is believing that discipline and punishment are the same thing. So many of us believe that, okay, when you don't punish a child, when you don't beat a child, when you don't hit a child, they won't be disciplined. You believe that hitting a child, punishment, and discipline are one and the same thing. So many of us grew up hearing things like, I will give you something to cry about. Children should be seen. I hope you can see and you can hear me. Can you hear me? So many of us grew up with words like, I will give you something to cry about. Children should be seen and not heard. As long as they obey, that's all that matters. I think I will have to. Okay, let me just go on. So we heard things like, I'll give you something to cry about. If you don't shut up your mouth now, I'll give you something to cry about. Children should be seen and not heard. That's why you let them just be moving around. Let them not see anything. They should not interrupt you. As long as they obey, that's all that matters. But discipline is not all of that. And because that was what many of us experienced, we carry those same ideas into parenting. We believe that that's what discipline is about. So today many parents are exhausted. They are shouting more, they are threatening more, they are even punishing more. Okay, so yet they are seeing less cooperation, less connection, and more resistance. Hello, welcome here. I hope you can see and that you can hear me. I've been trying to. Can you see and hear me? I need to put it down in the comment section if you can see and hear me. So many of us grew up. Can you see and hear me? Hello. So we grew up hearing shouting, threatening more, punishing more, yet they are seeing, yet we see less cooperation, less connection, more resistance. Have you noticed that? The more parents try to control, the more disconnected the relationship gets. Hello. So the more the relationship becomes, okay, the more you try to demand obedience, the less open your children become. Can you see and hear me? Hello. So the more you try to demand control, the more you try to demand obedience, the less connection you get from your children. And then parents begin to ask, why does my child not listen? Why does my child not? Why do I feel repeating? Why do I keep repeating myself? Why is this thing always repeating? Why is discipline becoming harder? Okay? Why is discipline becoming harder? Why do I keep repeating myself? You ask yourself, because why you are seeking control. But perhaps the better question is, have you misunderstood discipline itself? What is this discipline that is making the relationship between you and your child look a lot? So what actually is even this discipline? Is it that punishment? Is it shouting more? Is it hitting more? What is discipline? Okay, have you really understood what discipline itself is? So because stewardship parenting teaches something completely different. Okay, a steward parent understands that discipline is not about controlling a child. Steward parents understand that discipline is not about controlling a child, it's about preparing a child. You prepare a child to become a responsible adult. You are not raising your children will not remain children forever. Okay, so steward parenting teaches you that who are you raising? Who are you raising? It's all about preparing them. So discipline is not about power. Discipline is not about seeking power. It's about development. Discipline is not about forcing obedience. It is about nurturing. Okay? It's about teaching self-governance. Discipline is about teaching self-governance. Discipline is something that you have to embody in yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. Okay? You cannot be telling your child, oh, discipline is self-governance. It's about self-discipline. You first of all discipline yourself before you can be able to do discipline effectively. So that shift changes everything. Okay? This shift that you see that is self-governance changes everything. And you now start seeing what true discipline is about. So welcome everyone, welcome. I hope you can see and you can hear me. I've been asking if you can see and hear me. Okay, I'm alone in my small office. I hope you can see and that you can hear me. So discipline is not about forcing obedience. It's more about teaching. Okay, I am Ruth Ikhabomeh. I am the founder of the Equitable Parents Hub, and you are welcome to today's conversation. Today we are discussing the strategies that steward parents use in disciplining their children. The steward strategies, the 10 discipline strategies steward parents use. The 10 discipline strategies that steward parents use. Okay, so this conversation may challenge some long-haired beliefs that you have about discipline, but if you stay with me until the end, you will get to begin to see discipline in a completely different way. You will get to see discipline for what it is and not what your each held long belief about discipline. Okay, stay with me till the end of this class. Okay, so let me tell you a story. I will start with a story. So my struggle and the struggle of many parents. You've heard many parents. In fact, I've seen many parents. Okay, there was a season when even I thought that discipline simply meant correction. If behavior was wrong, you stop it. If behavior continued, increase the consequences. Let them feel the punishment. If behavior persists, become stricter. That seemed logical. Okay, that's why I used to tell people. I used to say oftentimes that this parenting is not common sense. Parenting is not common sense. You cannot use common sense to raise your children. Parenting is a skill, and it is not common sense skill. Okay, so it may seem logical that you should shout more, you should hit more because the child is misbehaving more, but yet you will notice something. The same behavior will keep showing up. Okay, it will keep showing up. The same conflict will repeat. The same frustration returns. Why? You begin noticing the same patterns in many families. Okay, parents were becoming more forceful. Children were becoming more distant and resistant. Parents were becoming more frustrated. Why? Because you've not understood what discipline is. Children were becoming more resistant. Nobody was winning. Mother once shared. Okay, one mother once shared, "Coach, I am always available for my children. I provide everything, yet they tell me they don't feel close to me. You provide, so that is not. So what is now the problem? What is now the problem? You provide everything. You think, okay, provision, presence over presence. Okay, now you have now given them the presence now, and there's still no connection between the both of you, between you and your children. So what is the problem? They don't feel close to you." Another parent once told me, "My child obeys me but never talks to me." You are raising a child that is a people pleaser child, a yes man, yes sir child. So but that statement stayed with me because obedience without connection is not the goal. Obedience without connection is not the goal in parenting. A child can comply and still feel disconnected. So that is why you should stop seeking for control. That is why you should stop trying to force a child, because a child can comply and still feel disconnected. A child can behave and still struggle emotionally. Yes, they can comply, they can behave themselves, and then they are struggling emotionally. Okay, so and that's when I realized discipline must be bigger than behavior management. Discipline is bigger than behavior management. So stop trying to manage your children, stop trying to control them. Okay, so discipline is bigger than that. Discipline is bigger than that. So stay with me, as I continue the class. So the breaking point, the breakthrough came when I understood this, that steward parents are not raising children. Steward parents are not raising children, they are preparing adults. Steward parents are not just raising children, but we are raising and preparing adults. So your child will not remain a child forever, your toddler will not remain a toddler forever. They are going to become adults. So that is what steward parents are mindful about, that you are raising adults, you are raising another steward. Okay, so you think about that yourself. Everything changes when your goal shifts from controlling today's behavior. Everything shifts from controlling today's behavior to developing tomorrow's adult. It shifts. So when you just try, you are always trying, you too, you will feel relief. You feel the relief when you see your child through the lens that discipline becomes. When you see your child through that lens, that everything, okay, controlling today's behavior is developing tomorrow's adult. When you begin to see them, okay, it is not about controlling this child today, it's about parenting, is about legacy. Okay, you are just a custodian of this time, you are going to pass it on. What are you passing on? So when you realize that, okay, today's behavior is going to be what is going to develop my child tomorrow, it's like you are packing who they are becoming. So what are you packing? So when you realize that, that is when the shift happen. That is when discipline becomes teaching. That is when discipline becomes mentoring. Okay, so but when you are trying to always control, you are seeking control. Didn't I tell you not to do that? You will hit, you yell, you fight, you bite, you do all sorts because you are trying to discipline. But discipline is when you start seeing that you are raising tomorrow's adult, not just today's child, because your child is not going to remain a child forever. They are not going to remain. Discipline becomes coaching. Discipline becomes preparation. Discipline becomes teaching. Instead of asking, how do I stop this behavior? Instead of giving yourself that task, how do I stop this behavior? You start asking, what skill is missing? What skill is my child lacking? That is what your goal will be. Not that, oh, I want to control this child, I want to make them, I want to force them, I want to force them. You have a mode in your mind, you want to force them into that. No, you cannot do that to any child. You can only guide them. You can only be a guide. That's what a steward is. Okay, so that's not what discipline is about. So stop trying to force a human being into a form. Okay, so you start asking yourself, how do I, what skill is my child missing? What skill is my child lacking? Because what value needs development? What values in your child needs development? Because when you keep asking, oh, how do I stop this behavior? Oh, how do I control this child away from this? Oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? You keep missing the point. You keep missing the point. But discipline is when your mindset changes, that you are raising an adult for tomorrow, you are developing an adult for tomorrow, you start asking yourself about skills, about values. The values that need to be developed, that's what you start asking yourself. But when you just keep stifling your child, you want to control them, you keep missing what discipline is about. Okay, you start asking, what lesson needs teaching? What lesson do I need to teach this child? But that single shift transformed even my own parenting philosophy. It transformed it. So, and it can transform your own too. So the stewardship discipline framework, I'm going to tell you about the stewardship discipline framework. A steward parent uses 10 discipline strategies. Okay, even more strategies. So just stay with me. A steward parent understands that discipline is not merely correcting behavior. A steward parent realizes and understands that discipline is not merely correcting behavior. It is teaching life skills, character, and self-governance. Every discipline moment becomes a development moment. Every discipline moment, you are aware that your discipline moment is 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 preparing is a preparation time. You realize that your discipline moment is a preparation time, so then you are mindful. So now let's look at the 10 discipline skills a steward parent uses. The 10 discipline strategies a steward parent a steward parent uses. So the first is connection before correction. Connection before correction. The first strategy is connection before correction. A child learns best when they feel emotionally safe. Your child will learn better when they are emotionally safe. But when you are trying to be the demon, you are trying to look like a demon for them to comply, they will not learn. They may comply, they may become fearful, but they are not learning. They are not learning. Okay, and over time they become confused. So but many parents correct first and connect later, or never connect at all. Many of us will correct first and connect later, but steward parents connect before they correct. How do you correct? How do you connect? You connect to your child. You connect to your child. There are ways you connect to your child. Okay, there are ways you connect to your child. Not that you stay up the ladder and be giving orders as a judge. You stay in the court and be giving orders. But when you understand that you need to connect, you come down and then come to their level and connect. And we are going to teach you, we teach you here what to do to connect. If you don't know how to connect with your children, if you don't know how these patterns work, you build them. Okay, you build these connection skills. You build, because that's what parenting is. Parenting is skill, parenting is an art, parenting is leadership. Parenting is leadership. Parenting is stewardship. Parenting is the ability to be able to lead yourself, because you can't keep saying do and then you are not doing. No, that is not parenting. You just are parenting if you are still on that level of do. You have to be able to put yourself first under that parenting. So you have to connect with your children to be able to. That's the first strategy that a steward parents apply. The first strategy is connection before correction. Example, your 8-year-old comes home angry and throws their school bag on the floor. She just comes home and he or she is angry, and then they throw their school bag on the floor. A reactive parent will be like, pick that bag up now. What is wrong with you? What is wrong? Why would you do that? You just start screaming at the child. You don't even understand what the child is going through. But a steward parent will say, I can see you are upset. Did something happen at school? The child explains they were embarrassed by a teacher. Now the correction comes. But when you allow reaction to lead your parenting, you just be yelling, you just be hitting. You don't even connect. You don't connect. But a steward parent learns how to connect. They learn how to connect. I see you are. What's wrong with you? What's happening? Okay, that is how to connect. Instead of just pick that bag now, come on, you keep giving orders. That is not connection. Connection is the ability to be able to come down to the level of the child and understand why what is happening. Okay, so I understand you're upset, but we can still don't throw things. Let's talk about a better way to handle those feelings. Simple, right? But it's not easy, and we are not doing it. It seems simple, but we are not doing it. So that is the first strategy that a steward parent employs. They employ how to discipline, how to connect to their children before correcting. Many of us, we just want to be correcting. Remove that bag now, I told you. Hey, remove it. Hey, you just be giving orders. But a steward parent is very mindful of how they have connected first before correcting. A steward parent is very mindful of connection before correction. The second strategy that a steward parent uses is teaching instead of strengthening. Hey. Thank you. I've been waiting for you. Please tell me, can you see and hear me? All this my audience, they are just looking at me. I've been asking them if they can see and hear me. They are just looking at me. Please, my number one fan, tell me, ma, can you see and hear me? So the second strategy that is steward parents. Oh, thank you so much, ma. I've been asking and then there was no answer. So the second strategy that is steward parents employs is teaching instead of threatening. Teaching. So many times you beat your children, you shout at them, you just feel they should know. They should know these things, but you have not taken the time out to teach them. So that is what is a steward parent knows their role as teachers. They teach instead of threatening. They teach their children instead of threatening. So that is another strategy that the steward parent uses. Threats may stop behavior temporarily. Teaching changes behavior long term. Teaching changes behavior long term. Okay, a child keeps interrupting conversation. For example, your child keeps interrupting conversation. Steward parent, if he interrupts me again, I will punish. In fact, I've told you people of a story that happened now. The child came and interrupted the parent while the parent was having a conversation, and this parent carried what was closest to her and was hitting her own child. So that is a reactive parent. That is a reactive parent, and that's not a bad parent. It's just that you have not learned a better way to do this stuff. You have not learned steward parenting. You have not learned steward parenting. So steward parenting says, if you interrupt me again, I will give you something to cry about. I will deal with. That is a reactive parent. But a steward parent says something like, let's practice waiting your turn. When adults are talking, place your hand on your arm and wait. I will acknowledge you when I can listen. That is easy, but we are not doing it, right? So that is what steward parenting is about. A steward parents have learned these skills. They are learning continuously, learning continuously, learning continually. Learning, parenting is about learning. Parenting is about growing up. Parenting is about building your skills. Okay? So, but you just keep reacting and then you feel it's all. The parent teaches the desired skill instead of simply punishing the mistake. So when your child makes mistake, instead of it to teach, you now start threatening. Hey, I've warned you. Hey, you don't do this in this house. Hey, and you've not taken out the time to, okay, this is how to do it. Okay, even if you have taught before, you keep teaching. Yes, you keep teaching until the lesson is passed. So you don't just start threatening. Hey, I've told you this thing before. I will punish you today. I will deal with you today. You go and carry hitting the child. You believe that that's where the effect of the discipline comes. It doesn't come that way from threatening, from hitting. Your ability to teach. You have to be able to be patient enough to teach. You have to be patient enough to teach your baby one small human. Parenting is beyond that. Parenting is you being able to have enough emotional stability to be able to teach a child that is not complying, a child that is not looking interested. That is where your parenting skill is required. So parenting is you being able to teach your children instead of you hitting them and threatening them. So the third strategy that a steward parent employs is consistency over intensity. Consistency over intensity. Many of us, we just want to, okay, I will give my child one full day. I will give them one full day in a whole year. The next 364 days, that be 365 days, you are traveling everywhere, you are busy. So, but consistency, that small 10 minutes, even if you are not with them, you can still connect. So that is what we do here. We teach you how to connect. Okay, even if what is it called now, even if distance is a problem for you, you'll still be able to connect with your children. You still be able to do these things consistently instead of trying to do it, give intensity. You want to give them a full day of your whole 365 days. Come closer. You can do it consistently every day, instead of, even if you are not with them, even if you are far away in a far away country and your children in another place, you can still connect with them daily. You can still be in their world. You can still be able to teach them. You can still be able to direct them. That is what consistent parenting is about. Okay, you can still connect with them even if your job demands that you go away from them. You can still connect. You can still connect and be in their world. That is what parenting is. Children need predictability. Predictability. Today you are here, tomorrow you are the next, you are never available. But your child needs you to be predictable. They need to know you, that you are always who you are. You are always who you are, because many parents are calm one day and explosive the next. You are calm today and you are explosive the next. You start throwing a lot of tantrum, drama. This creates confusion, and many children today are very confused. They are very confused. That is why you can lure them to do anything, because they don't even know what's happening in their world. They don't even know what's happening to them. Because why? They are confused. How did this confusion come? From your inconsistency, from your unpredictability. You that is their parents, you that is the charity, the first charity that begins at home. You are confusing them. You are inconsistent. You are unpredictable. But to be able to lead your child to become an adult who is sure about their identity, you should build on consistency. You should build consistently and not intensity, just giving them one full whole day, and then the next days you become explosive, you become erratic, you become chaotic. They don't even know who they are living with. That is not parenting is about. Parenting is about predictability. I know who my mom is, I know who my dad is, I know that this is what they would ever be. Okay? So a child forgets homework. One day the parents laugh, the next day you scream. This is an example. Your child forgets their homework. The next day you will laugh, hey. And that is how I used to do that. When I was in school, I used to pray that they should not remember to, my teacher should not remember to ask me. That is not tomorrow. Now the same you that is telling them that. Tomorrow you will now become explosive. How would you forget your homework? The other day your teacher was talking to me anyhow, but you laughed yesterday. You were laughing, and you were even giving them story that was how you were behaving when you were a child. So you have to be predictable. You have to be consistent. If you know that their homework have to be with them every day, they have to make sure that their homework is in their bag every day. You should enforce that. It should be firm. Not that today you are saying something else, tomorrow you are saying. Let your words be consistent. Let your actions be consistent. Let your values be consistent, because the child never knows what to expect when you are reactive. But a steward parent consistently respond. You forgot your homework. What system can we create to help you remember? What system can we create to help you remember next time? Because consistency builds trust. Consistency builds trust. Most of the time we just say, okay, let's whatever parenting, do what works for you. In parenting, you don't do what works for you. You don't do what works for you. Stewards are trained people. You cannot go to a king's house and say, oh, let me just do what works for me. You cannot. Why? Because you are raising the king's child. You are raising the king's children. You are raising kings. Even the Bible said kings of kings. So you are raising other kings. Okay, you are raising the king's child. That is who a steward is. A steward is trained to do that. You cannot just go and say, okay, let me just do what works for my child. This one is very quiet. This one is very gentle. This one does not need. Parenting is seed time. Parenting is not do what works for you. Parenting is consistency. Parenting is predictability. So stop trying to wing parenting. You are just doing what works for you. Parenting deserves you to do much more than that. Parenting requires skills. Parenting requires your skills. Parenting is seed time. What are you planting? What are you planting? You are just a custodian of times you are going to hand over. What are you going to hand over? What are you going to hand over? So now the third, the third skill I mentioned is consistency over intensity. Many of us, we just want to, hey, give them everything. But you, what do you want? You want presents? Take my ATM, go and get them. That is not consistency. That is not consistency. Consistency is being who you are repeatedly. Okay, working on improving yourself, working on growing up, growing into your parenting duties, That is what consistency is about. It's not intensity. Today you are very calm, you are very organized, tomorrow you are erratic, you are chaotic. That is not what parenting is about. It is not in your intensity. It is not in your intensity, but in your consistency, in your growth, in your ability to grow. That is where your parenting lies. Okay, so the fourth strategy that a steward parent employs or uses is natural and logical consequences. This is where many parents fails. Many parents fails here. You are always trying to jump into the arena to save your children. You don't want them, you suffered though. You suffered. In your time, during your time, you used to fail very well. You'll be wishing all your friends, they used to have a automopo, they used to have a sport, they used to have a way to go and find their way around. And their parents, sometimes their parents used to help them. But your parents, you have the means, so you go out of your way and will not allow natural and logical consequences to happen in the academics of your children. You go and bribe them instead of you to allow let children learn. Okay, let children learn best when consequences are connected to behavior. There are consequences for every action. So stop trying to tell yourself that it's nothing will happen, there's nothing. All those people that are saying karma, there are consequences for every action, even to your child, even to you. So you have to be very mindful of all of this stuff, because children will always learn from their action, from their consequences. But when you keep telling yourself that there's no consequences, when there's a problem, instead of you to allow growth to happen from that, you jump into the arena, you jump into the scene and remove the consequences, remove the learning phase from them, and just allow them to pass seamlessly. I don't want my child to suffer. I don't want my child to have any stress. So example, a teenager forgets to charge your phone. Okay, you tell your teenager to do something for you and they forget it. You now say, you will never, for the next 1 week, you will never get that again. But the logical consequence will tell the child, okay, you will need to be able to manage this. Okay, you need to be able to manage until it changes. The consequences relate directly to the mistake. Okay, instead of you just be reacting, you start hitting the child or beating or using bad words, bad labels on your children. Let the consequences relate directly to their mistake. That way they'll be able to learn consistently. Do what works for you is not a parenting strategy one. Do what works for you is not a steward parenting strategy. If you are a steward, you cannot do what works for you. There is a manual, there's a template to parenting. There is a manual, there's a template to parenting. There is tools, there are skills you need to be able to equip yourself with. Not what works for you. Okay, stop doing parenting in your reactive style. Stop doing parenting in a way that feels it works for you. No, there's a template for you to use. There's a template for you to raise a king with. There's a template for a king to be raised with. Okay, remember, your children are the children of a king. Your children are not yours. You are a steward to those destinies. So, and there's a template. A steward is not that one you have been praying, oh God, help me, I don't want to beat these children again, I don't want to yell again, oh God, help me. There's a template for you to use so that you can know what to do. You can have clarity in your parenting, because do what works for you is not a strategy to a steward. It's not a strategy to a steward. So example now, logical consequences is, another example is a child refuses to put away their toys. they finish playing and then everywhere is scattered. You just you these children, hey, you'll be shouting or you will beat them. At the end of the day, you be the one to pack it. Logical consequences: the toys are temporarily removed because they are not being cared for properly. A logical consequence is that you temporarily remove those toys. You remove them because why? The children are not taking care of it properly. That is a logical consequence, not the one that you will go and beat them, or you will yell, you will shout, you will do all the reactive parenting style, and then you will still go and be the one to clean the place. You will do the work, you do it like a not a steward. That's not a steward parent. Okay, so but the lesson remains connected to the behavior. The lesson should always remain connected to the behavior. So stop jumping into the scene to control, to always control. Allow natural and logical consequences when there's a problem. Allow natural and logical consequences. Okay, logical consequences is important. Okay, it's important. Your child knows how to play with toys, but they don't know how to pack it. Allow logical consequences. Allow natural consequences. You refuse to eat, you will be hungry. You refuse to wear your cardigan, you will be cold. Those are logical consequences. Okay, you will pour water together, go and bring mop. Oh yeah, let's clean it together. Go and get a napkin, let's clean the table together. Okay, those are natural consequences. Not that you beat the child and say go inside the room. Go inside the room. You know you this naughty boy. So allow logical consequences. Let your child be able to learn from their mistake. Let them learn from your home, not outside. Let them start learning from your home. Use opportunities to teach. Use the opportunities to teach. Stop jumping into their sins to control issues. Leave them to learn. Leave your child to build skills. Leave them to build muscles. Leave them to build muscles, to build skills, to be able to lead themselves out there. So let your child learn from the house. Another strategy that a steward employs is emotional coaching. Emotional coaching. Children often act out because they lack emotional skills. Children often act out because they lack emotional skills. Nobody taught them because they saw when mommy and daddy they are angry, they used to bang the door. They used to react anyhow. So your children will learn that, yes. But a steward parent will be able to coach their children emotionally. Emotional coaching. Emotional coaching. Not that because you are angry, the thing is doing you, as it's doing you, you are doing it. Children will learn emotional skills because a steward parent teaches emotional literacy. They learn all this stuff. Emotional coaching is important. Let your child learn how to be able to manage themselves. It's not after they've been bullied out there they'll say, okay, Shebi, I told you, you will learn. You teach them. You teach them. So example, a child hits their sibling. A reactive parent says, stop it. Stop it. Why are you doing that? Why will you hit your sibling? Why will you hit your baby brother? Have I not told you before? That is a reactive parent. A steward parent to say, I won't allow hitting. Tell me what you are feeling. Tell me what you are feeling. The child will say, okay, he took my toy. He took my toy. Then the parent will say, okay, so you felt angry, right? Anger is okay, hitting is not. Okay, anger is okay, but hitting is not. Let's practice what you can say next time. The child learns emotional expression. The child will be able to learn emotional expression. So that is what parenting is about. Emotional coaching. That is what a steward does for their children. They coach their children to be able to manage their emotion, and that is what a human, basically a human, that's what differentiates a human being from other animals. Your ability to be mature, you to grow in your emotions. Stop allowing your emotion lead you. Stop allowing your emotion lead you. Your emotion is just telling you. Your ability to be able to coach yourself to grow from those emotions is the ability that you are empowering your children with. And remember that you are co-regulating your children. You should be a thermostat and not a thermometer. You should not be the one that is erratic. You are the one that is causing the problem in the home. Hey, this house have been too quiet, come here. Hey, you are just what calls for that? Nothing. So learn how to be calm, learn how to build this your emotion, learn how to grow emotionally. So stop yelling and screaming. You can do this, okay? We can do it. We can do it. It's not, I'm not, like I always say during my classes, I am not talking from a place of perfection. I am talking because I have been able to do it, and I believe we all too can become stewards. We can become stewards to the destiny that we have been entrusted into our hands. We can become stewards. We can become entrusted stewards. So that is why I am here. I am not here because I have always got it right. I am not here because I grew up in a perfect way. I have always been perfect. No, I am here saying it because I know what is at stake. I know destinies are at stake, and this is important. It is very important that we get this, because our children are going to live lives not just in your own home. They are going to live out there in the world. What are you doing? Are you just being reactive, or you are ready to grow up? You are ready to build your emotions, okay? Accountability without shame. Another strategy that a steward parent has is accountability without shame. You are able to correct behavior without attacking identity. This is where many parents are struggling with. This is where many parents are struggling with. A child lies, you tell them, you are such a liar. You are such a liar. You will grow up to become a thief. You will grow up to become a criminal. Shebi, I've been telling you. I know it's like I've been today, mark my word, mark today's date. I have told you, you are going to become a criminal. Really? See the prophecy you are prophesying to your child because of they lied. I mean, you that is telling them that you lie. Oh, even today, this new day that we just started this morning, that rain have been falling, you have lied. And then you are telling your child that you are going to become a criminal because they lie one lie. So, but you should be able to correct behavior without attacking your child's identity. Stop attacking your child's identity. They are going to become kings like the king. But when you keep labeling them in the negative way, you are going to become a criminal, you are going to become a thief, you are going to become a rogue, you are going to become a this, you are a liar. You call a child, you are such a liar. Your child is going to become that, because that is your prophecy for them. That is your prophecy for your child. But a steward parent knows that, okay, you told a lie. Let's talk about why honesty matters. A steward parent sits down with the child when the child makes mistake and notice the difference, and then walk the child through their mistake. The child learns from that. Not that you start labeling them. Oh, you are such a liar, you are such a lazy boy, you are not intelligent, you are so dull, hey, to your child. Okay, so one attacks identity, the other addresses behavior. A steward addresses the behavior, and then but a reactive parent will always go for the identity of the child. A steward parent will always go for the identity of the child. Okay, a steward parent never wants a child to conclude, I am bad. A steward parent is always aware of the fact that their identity is molding the identity of their child is their duty, is their role. So they are very mindful of that. Instead they say, I made a mistake and I can learn from it. That is what a steward parent wants their child to always have in their mind. Name calling and shaming is a parenting disadvantage. Bam. Thank you, ma'am. You know, you have a what is it called? You have two titles. You are my number one fan and my coach. Don't worry, I'll give you your flowers. So a steward parent is aware of that. He or she is aware that your child should never feel that they are bad people. A steward parent is very mindful of that. This child that is around me, because I am angry, my child should not start feeling that they are bad people. Instead, they should always know that they make mistakes and they can learn from it. There's a space to learn from it. There's capacity. There's a window to learn from. Not that because they made a mistake, okay, you just make them, you are such a terrible, you just make them look useless. you make them look useless. Okay, so you a steward parent is aware that mistakes must be made. It's a short thing. Even me, even you, all of us, we make mistake. So but a steward parent is aware of that, and then they can make their child learn from it. Your home is a teaching ground. Your home is a teaching space. It's not a space of perfection. It's not a space for you to be labeling your children. It's not a space for you to be insulting your child. Your home is a space for you to be able to teach your child. So be mindful of that. Stop trying to make your child feel bad because they made a mistake. Be mindful of that. Okay, let your child know that they can learn from their mistake. Let your child know that they can learn from their mistakes. So another strategy that a steward parent uses is boundary-based discipline. Boundaries. This word boundary is a lot. It's something that we need to sit on to learn, because we don't even know boundary. Say, hug him now. Shebi is your uncle. Hug him. Shebi she's your auntie. Hug him. You know. Anytime an adult send you message, make sure you go. Anytime your uncle or an auntie, an adult send you message, always go. You just boundary, no boundary. You don't tell them, okay, yes, you should reply your uncle. You can do this. You cannot. You don't. There's no boundary. You just give them. Just be like. So, but love requires limit. Love requires limits. The home is a training ground, yes, and not a judgment arena. Well, thank you. Your flowers are getting more in my hands. Your flowers will be plenty. Don't worry. So boundary-based discipline. Love requires limits. So children feel secure when boundaries are clear. Children feel secure when boundaries are clear. So and your home is that place you should be able to teach this stuff. Your home is in your house. Your child should be able to learn boundary. Don't tell them, you mean your uncle is calling you and you did not go? Your uncle sent you and you did not go. Come here, go and kneel down. Have I not told you in this house before that you always obey your senior? Always obey your senior. You should not talk when your senior is talking. In this time and age, you don't have boundaries. You don't have boundaries. You don't know that a child should be able to defend themselves. A child is a full human. Is a full human being. So your child should be able to defend themselves. Okay? So example, bedtime is 8:30 p.m. Your child, I don't want to sleep. You're fine. Stay up then. You don't want to sleep. Go and you can use this time. Say, she better say you should not watch cartoon since you don't want to sleep. Go and watch cartoon. But a steward parent, or you say go to bed. Fine, okay, stay up there. You now say, okay, go to bed right now before I lose my temper. You're always reactive. Say, okay, go and watch go and just do whatever you want to do. That is also a neglectful parent. You are a reactive parent is a neglectful parent. It's a neglectful parent. So, but a steward parent say, I know you want to stay up longer. Bedtime is still that fixed time. It's still, if it's 6 p.m., if it's 7, if it's 8 p.m., if it's 9 p.m., because your body needs rest. Your body needs rest. So that boundary still remains firm. The relationship remains respectful. The relationship remains respectful. So that is what a steward parent enforces. It enforces boundary. Okay? The boundary still remain fixed. You allow your child know that they are responsible for themselves, not their uncle, not their auntie. They can allow their auntie or their uncle lead them to a reasonable extent, but not completely. Not completely. They are not meat. They are human beings. They are human beings. So allow your child to be able to lead themselves. Allow them. So stop telling them to just be allowing people into their spaces. Your child can lead themselves and allow them to do that. Okay? Allow them. Boundary is very important in parenting. So the boundary should remain firm. The boundary should always remain firm. When it comes to timing, when it comes to your boundary should remain firm. Okay? Another strategy that a steward parent employs is problem solving together. problem solving together. A steward parent builds thinking skills. A steward parent builds thinking skills. Example, a child continually forgets school materials instead of rescuing or blaming them. Okay? A steward parent says, what do you think is causing this problem? What ideas do you have to fix it? The child suggests a checklist. The parent helps implement it. Now the child develops responsibility. So that is a strategy that a steward parent is very mindful of. Building, solving problems together. You're not solving problem in isolation. You feel that this 9-year-old, what does she know? What does he know? You do it together. And you'll be surprised how that child will change, how that child have come to change your world, how that child is the best thing that has happened to you. You'll be very surprised. Instead of you to always say, what does this small, what does he know? Solve problems together. Try to solve problems together. Let that be in your mind, that you have another human being in your home. Build skills. Okay, it builds responsibility. The parent helps to implement it. The child suggests, the parent implements. You work together. That is problem solving skills that you are building together, and this develops responsibility. The child knows that, okay, I can contribute. At the end of the day, the child learns that they can contribute. Okay, so now character development focus. Character development focus is another strategy that a steward parent employs. Is another strategy that a steward parent uses. Character development focus. So many of us, we are not focused on character. Just get first, so come first in your class. No matter what it takes, you just want first. At the end of the day, with the first, many of us will not even use that first. We did not use the first. But you are just after first, coming first in your class. But a steward parent asks is, what character trait is this situation teaching? What is this teaching my child? What is the character? What is character we building? So that should be your focus in parenting, not coming first, not becoming the winner. Build character. Character development should be your focus in your parenting, should be your focus. Okay? Example, your child loses a game and becomes upset. A reactive parent say, it's just a game, stop crying. But a steward parent say, this is an opportunity to practice resilience and sportsmanship. The parent teaches preservation, perseverance. It teaches emotional regulation. The parent also teaches humility. The focus becomes character development. Let everything in your home be about developing character. Yes, not just coming first. You must come first. Oh, you must. During my time, I was always first in my class. If you even check, maybe it's not true. So it's not. You should not be the focus. Coming first. The focus is character development, integrity, building character, building values. You tell your child, just do whatever you want to do. Is that whatever they are doing? Is it building character? You leave your child, they are isolated, they are in their world, you don't even know what they are going through. You buy them what is it? You buy your child, your 6-year-old. You buy your 6-year-old, your 10-year-old, your 15-year-old, they are controlling phones, they are controlling gadgets. You tell me, this coach does not know what she's saying. How old is she? How many children does she have? How many children has she raised? Is her system proven? Is it proven? Please let her go and sit down. You now carry phone, you give it to your child, and your child is in another world. You don't know that that's what you are doing when you give them that. You are introducing several worlds to them, to your child that needs to be nurtured, to your child that still needs time to be built. Someone that is undergoing training, someone that is undergoing building, you carry a phone and give them and tell yourself that you are a good parent. You are not a good parent, you are a reactive parent. You are a reactive parent, okay? So become a steward parent so that you can be clear, you can be mindful of what you are doing part-time to your children, okay? Become a steward parent so that you can be mindful of what you are doing to the destinies of your children. strategy that a steward parent uses is long-term preparation. Like I just said, parenting is about legacy. It's not just about the present. It's not just about the now. You tell yourself, okay, you tell yourself, the child is misbehaving now, so you flog them. You flog them. You do all manner to them. I know those harsh, barbaric parenting style are still happening, where you get to cut your child with blade. You use wood pepper inside. They are still happening now as I am speaking. People are still doing all those emotionally erratic parenting. So you need to stop that and start doing leading. Start becoming a leader in your parenting. How can you become a leader? By working on your emotions. And you cannot do it. You cannot read 10 emotional intelligence book and get it. No. You cannot read 20 emotional intelligence book and get it. You will still fall back. You will still fall back. You need a system. You need structure. You will still fall back after the euphoria of the book you have read wears out. So it's about systems, it's about growth, it's about being planted. This thing is about being planted. If not, you will keep reverting back to who you were. So it's long-term preparation. Steward parent discipline with adulthood in mind. With discipline with adulthood in mind, not fear. Not fear parenting. Hey, you mean you will be, hey, you mean that has happened. Hey, you will always be. That is not the long term I'm talking about, long-term preparation. Long-term preparation goes beyond fear. It's not about fear. Example, a teenager forgets an assignment. A reactive parent will rush to the school to fix the problem. You rush to the school to fix the problem, but a steward parent knows that you need to allow the child to experience the result and learn responsibility. Your teenager needs to learn responsibility from their action. So because one day there will be no parents calling their employer. So that is why many people are not employable, because all through their life their parents have been bailing them. Their parents have been bailing them. You go to their school and fight for them. But one day when you know that they will be on their own, they will become independent, they will rule their world, you will know that you need to prepare them for long term. No parent fixing every mistake, okay? Because you know that you cannot fix every mistake. You cannot. So stop trying to fix every mistake. Discipline prepares children for real life. Discipline prepares children for real life, not just today. So ask yourself, am I solving today's problem? Am I solving today's problem or preparing my child for tomorrow's responsibility? Am I solving today's problem or preparing my child for tomorrow's responsibility? Because every discipline moment asks a question. Am I trying to control my child? Am I trying to control this child? Or am I trying to develop this child? Reactive parenting focuses on immediate obedience. Steward parenting focus is on long-term development. The goal is not simply raising children who behave when watched. The goal is raising adults who can govern themselves wisely when nobody is watching. Who can govern themselves wisely when nobody is watching. So now, this is where many parents suddenly realize something. Okay? You suddenly realize that most discipline strategies are not behavior problems. They are not behavior problems. Now, discipline is not what you do to your child. Discipline strategy is not what you do to your child. They are skill development problems. Many children, many at times, child that you are hitting have not learned how to manage these skills, how to practice these skills, but you keep hitting them. So they are skill development problems and they have not been built. They have not been built. So children often need emotional skills. Oftentimes your child needs emotional skills, they need communication skills, they need problem solving skills, they need self-regulation skills. because steward parents focuses on building this capacity. Like I have said, parenting is about capacity. So you cannot be living anyhow and say, parents, do what works for you. You cannot be living anyhow and say, do whatever works for you. Every child is unique. How can you say you want to learn parenting? You allow your child to lead. You become neglectful. You become a permissive parent. You become a permissive parent. No rules, no leader, nobody, nothing is leading your home. Nothing is leading. You become a permissive and a neglectful parent. That is not gentle parenting. That is not gentle parenting. Parenting is about building capacity in your child, emotional capacity, communication skills, problem solving skills, self-regulation skills. Even we as adults, many times we cannot control ourselves. I was in a platform, everybody is saying, oh, widows and widowers need to be having sex. We cannot self-regulate ourselves. After the sex, what next? All the sex you've had before the demise of your spouse, was it enough for you? So you have to be able to self-regulate yourself before you get yourself into trouble. So it's a skill that needs to be built. Self-regulation skill. It is not easy, but you need to learn it so that you can teach it. You cannot give what you don't have. Remember, you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot give what you don't have. So steward parents focus on building these capacities. So that is why discipline becomes more effective. That is when discipline becomes more effective. So now, the gap, there's where many parents get stuck. They hear teachings like this, they agree, oh, they feel inspired, but awareness alone does not create transformation. Knowing is not the same as applying. Knowing is not the same as applying. Many parents know they should stay calm. Many parents know they should not hit. Many parents know they should stop being reactive. Many parents know they should not just be permissive. Many parents know they should be firm, but then they don't know how to go about it. They don't have the tools, they don't have the equipment. They are using common sense to do parenting. And you cannot use common sense for parenting. Parenting is not something you use common sense for. Parenting is a skill. Parenting is leadership. And you cannot use common sense for leadership. If not, you will keep making mistakes. And these are children you are raising. You cannot keep making mistakes with people's life. You cannot keep making mistakes with people's life. So knowing is not the same as applying. And many parents know this. Okay, they know that you should be regulated. They know that you should have emotional intelligence. But then yet, you lose your temper. Many know that they should listen, yet you interrupt. Child is trying to tell you something. Say, please, just quiet, let me tell you first. I am the parents here. You know that many of us know that we should connect, yet we are reactive. You cannot be patient and connect. You just want to react and correct. But parenting is about your connection. Connection is the lifeline of your parenting. It's in your connection you'll be able to get the juice out of the parenting. It's in connection that you'll be able to get that relationship that you seek for from your teenager. It's in connecting that you'll be able to get who your toddler is. Okay? So connect and stop reacting. Why? Because parenting patterns are deep. Transformation requires support, structure, coaching, accountability and practice, because there are blind spots that you cannot. Even me, I am still learning. I'm not just speaking because I came from a perfect background. No, I am learning, and from what I am learning is what I am speaking. Okay? It's from what I am learning I am speaking. I'm not telling you because I have always been perfect. I've made my mistakes, and I know we can all do better together. That is why this platform is here. Okay? So because transformation requires support, requires structure, requires coaching, requires accountability and practice. So this is why trying harder is often not enough. This is why you pray and then there's no wisdom. There's no wisdom for this parenting. This is why you are it's like this thing is not enough. You are struggling. This parenting is not parenting. You need a system. You need a system. So that dear parents, the goal of discipline is not to produce fearful children. The goal of parenting is not to produce fearful children. The goal is to produce responsible adults. The goal is not obedience at all costs. You are looking for obedience. How can I tell you that? During my time, my mother will just call my name, Bimpe, and I will just answer, and I will just obey. That is not the goal of parenting. The goal of discipline is not to produce fearful children. It is not to produce fearful children. It is not to demand obedience at every time. You cannot tell me no. So because your child is always telling you no, you say no. How can you tell your parent no? You fight this. You seek for control, you put fear in them so that they will never tell you no again. But the no is to produce the goal is to produce responsible adults. The goal is not obedience at all costs. The goal is wisdom. The goal is character. The goal is responsibility. The goal is self-governance. Ability to be able to govern themselves, because they've been able to be trained. Parenting time is a training time. It's a teaching time. So stop doing parenting haphazardly. Stop doing parenting without awareness. You are not aware. Your children are struggling. You are not aware of what they are going through. A steward parent understands that every correction moment is a teaching moment. So how are you correcting? Are you correcting the child in the way that you would match their identity? You would trample on their identity because you want to correct the child. You are an idiot. You are a thief. You are a bastard. You say all of those things to your child in trying to correct them. You say all of those labels to your child in trying to correct them. A steward parent understands that correction time is a teaching moment, and as you are saying all those things, you are teaching them. You are building them. You are giving them those identity. You are calling them, this is who you are. Okay? You are labeling them, this is who you are. All those negative words, all those words that you have just said, they are those words. You are labeling them. You are giving them identity. This is who you should be. But correction time is supposed to be a teaching time. It's not a time for you to destroy your child. So every conflict is a growth opportunity. Every conflict is a growth opportunity. Every challenge is preparation for adulthood. If you are ready to move beyond reactive parenting and become a true steward parent, that's why we are here. Join us in the Steward Tribals program. Okay, because children do not need, they don't just simply need correction. They need guidance. Children need guidance. Children need guidance, they need wisdom, they need stewardship. The destinies of your children need stewardship. They need to be stewarded. And stewardship begins with the parent. It begins with you, the parent. And I know I will see you inside that program. Okay, details for the program is coming up. I know I will see you inside that program. So it is very important. It is very important to stop doing parenting in a reactive style. In a reactive way. Stop doing reactive parenting and start and become a steward. Become a steward to the destinies of your children today. Start stewarding the destinies of your children today. Stop doing parenting without awareness. You don't know what is happening. Your children are struggling and you are not even aware. How can I help this child? Parenting is meant to a stewarding time. It is a teaching time. It is a time to lead. Thank you all so much for being here. So I hope that you've been able to see the strategies that a steward parent uses to be able to teach, to be able to enforce discipline. Discipline is not fear. Discipline is not, you are flogging everybody, you are knocking everybody, you are biting some, you are jumping everywhere. That is not discipline. Discipline is the ability to be able to lead even yourself. It's the ability to be able to control and regulate yourself. I thank you all for being here and for staying with me till this time. I really appreciate you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, my #1 fan, my everyone. I see you all and I appreciate your presence. So see you on the same space, the same time next week, Wednesday. Bye. If you are not following, please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. like this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join us in our growth journey, follow us on all our handle on Facebook. Oh, thank you, man, for being here. Follow us on our Facebook, our TikTok, Instagram. We are on all the social media handles. On LinkedIn, on this YouTube channel, subscribe. Thank you once again. See you same time next week. Bye bye.